Okay, so let's go to the presentation. Dojo Widgets, Digit in short. So we'll talk about the concept of widgets and then digits. And then we'll see how we can use Dojo Widgets both declaratively and programmatically. And we'll talk about the concept of Dojo Parser. And then rest of the presentation is basically using Dojo Widgets. Widgets are, for example, form widgets, layout widgets, command control widgets, and bunch of other type of widgets. So what is a widget and what is digit? So widget is UI components such as a button, text box, scroll bar, calendar, tree, things like that. And in general, widgets are a lot easier to deal with than DOM APIs because widgets actually a combination of, in fact, the three things: behavior through JavaScript and HTML, kind of providing layout, and also CSS, which is the styling. It can be a composite component, meaning it could be built from multiple other widgets, and it can have a custom style, of course, and can be associated with event handlers. And of course, these event handlers can do anything it wants to do, including talking to backend service. And widgets also handle browser incompatibilities. So what is digit? Digit is Dojo widget library. So basically it's a framework as well as a set of widgets that come from Dojo package. And this widget system is built on the top of basic Dojo and is fully themeable and come with actually I should say 4 default themes. For now, Dojo comes with 4 default themes. And you can override this theme by container or per element basis. And digits are also fully internationalized and is fully accessible. So these are the set of built-in widgets. So form, validation, specialized input, and layout, command control, and user assistance and feedback, and advanced editing and display. So we can actually try some of this in the hands-on lab. So let's see how you can use widgets. It's very simple to use digits. You can use Dojo widget digits declaratively or programmatically. And by declaratively, you can actually specify some attributes with a regular HTML tags. And by the way, from Dojo 1.7, the HTML5 compliant attributes are provided. And you can create widgets programmatically as well within your JavaScript code. And the options are the same, whether you are creating your widget declaratively or programmatically. So let's see example code. So this is the case that we are going to create your widget declaratively, and this is the format that you're going to use for Dojo 1.7 and below. Okay, this format is supported in 1.7, but 1.7 has different attributes. Okay, so make sure you have Dojo require your widget, so you are importing your widget. And then you're going to include and execute Dojo Parser. Again, we'll talk about the concept of Dojo Parser in a few minutes. And so you have to actually execute Dojo Parser. So as we'll see in a few minutes, basically Dojo Parser scans your page and instantiates all the Dojo widgets. And that could be done automatically through Dojo config parser node true. Okay? So again, we'll talk about this in a bit more detail later on. So widgets are created as soon as DOM is created, but before any other on-node callbacks. Okay? So callbacks can actually deal with widgets because widgets are going to be created before callback functions are invoked. So this is a way that you can use widget declaratively. So you have HTML tag, and then you're going to use the Dojo type, and then specify the name of your widget, path to your widget. This is how you are going to do in Dojo 1.7. So in 1.7, HTML5 compatible attributes are provided. So instead of using Dojo type, you're going to use data Dojo type. Okay, so basically it replaces Dojo type attribute. They are same thing, but this is HTML5 compatible attribute, and this is not. Okay, so if you're writing code from scratch, it's recommended that you're using data Dojo type, and of course you have to use Dojo 1.7. And data Dojo props replaces attribute to property mapping. So you wanna use this attribute for providing the attribute to property mapping, and you are going to use data Dojo ID for giving an ID. Okay, so this is the case. So we are using data Dojo type and the path to your widget, and then this is the properties. We have only one property, but you can have multiple properties by having comma inside this quotation, and this is your event handler, and then we provide an ID. Okay, moving forward. So as you can see, it's very simple to use Dojo widgets. You can create your widget programmatically in your JavaScript code. Okay, so again, you want to make sure the parser is actually parsing the page to create instances of your widget. This is one way of doing it. So you can declaratively specify in Dojo config, and then you don't have to call parse yourself. Okay, because it's going to be done for you if you have this Dojo config parse on load to true. And then you have to use dojo.require for your widget. Okay, so you are importing your widget JavaScript code, and then you're going to use Dojo type. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry, this is not actually programmatically. I'm actually still talking about declaratively. Okay. Okay, so this is still Dojo 1.6 and below. Okay, and it is still supported in 1.7 as well. And this is the how you can create your widget programmatically. So you're going to call constructor method of your widget. So in this case, I'm creating a button. So I say new digit.form button, and then I provide properties, set of properties, and then I provide reference node, and then I get a widget object. Okay. So the constructor parameters. So constructor parameters that we are talking about is, in this case, these properties and this reference node. So you can have properties object, okay, and then a node reference. So node reference is optional, but it's considered, it's a good practice to have it. And if you don't have it, then a div element will be automatically created. And properties object is basically a set of named arguments you can use to set various properties of your widget. Okay. Let me see, a couple of questions. Programmatically means calling widget using your JavaScript? Yes. Well, actually, creating widget within your JavaScript code instead of specifying it declaratively. So this is the way that you are creating your widget declaratively. Okay? So you don't need the JavaScript code. However, if you want to create your widget programmatically in your JavaScript code, you can do this. Okay? All right. So it will be, yes, so question is, so will it be added to the HTML on the fly? That is correct. So as I said before, you can specify node reference, and if you don't specify node reference, and then a div element will be automatically created. Okay. All right, so this is the case that you specify node reference. So you have div, and this is the way that you want to create, in this case, progress bar. Okay, so these are the set of properties. So this is a property object. Okay, so we have two property values, maximum and progress, and this is a node reference. Okay, so this is the case that I specify explicit a node. Okay, but if you don't specify it, then an element, div element, will be automatically created. Okay, so which one you want to use? Do you want to use declarative or programmatically creating widget? In general, you might want to use the declarative fashion because it's easier to use. It's tightly integrated with a particular visual component because you specify your widget right on the spot that you want to use. Okay, so it's easier to develop. And the downside of declarative way of creating widget is extra processing required because parser has to traverse. It has to scan the down tree for any element that is a Dojo custom attribute. Programmatic way of creating widget is actually providing semantic purity of HTML, so to speak, because you're not really adding any non-HTML kind of tags in your HTML code. However, it's more work. It's actually writing code. So programmatic way of creating widget is more work. So in general, you want to use declarative way of creating widget. Okay, so let's talk about Dojo parser one more time. So what is a Dojo parser? It's actually a module, a JavaScript object, which is used to convert any node decorated with this Dojo data type attribute in Dojo 1.7 or Dojo type attribute in Dojo less than 1.7 in the DOM and convert them into digit object, widget object. Okay, so it basically scans the entire DOM for this data Dojo type attribute or Dojo type attribute and will create a digit instances. Okay. And the parse also allows function parameters and connection via the script tag. So here you can specify event handler. Okay. So this is the event handler function to connect to is event handler that will be invoked, and so you can actually associate event handler to the widget. Okay, how do I run Dojo parser? So there are two ways to run Dojo parser, manually or before unload. Okay, so these are the manual options. So in Dojo 1.7, if you are using AMD style of coding, then you have to require Dojo parser, and then you're going to parse the method of it. Okay. If you're using 1.7 and below 1.7, then this is what you do. You say Dojo require, and then you just call parse method of Dojo parser. And if writing code like this is too much, then what you can do is in the configuration, you say data Dojo config or Dojo config, and then you say parse unload true. Okay. And if you do this, and then parser will be automatically, invoked, and it will be scan the page to find the widget. Okay, so you probably see this one most of the time. Okay. Okay, so let's move on. So we can actually go through some of the example widgets. So themes, themes. Digit themes lend a consistent look and feel to widgets. Okay. So basically, themes are a collection of images and CSS files that bring common visual style, whether that visual style means font, color, texture, layout, and animation to all widgets. So in Dojo, Dojo comes with 4 built-in widgets, built-in themes. So Claro and Tundra, Soria, and Nihilo. Right? So these are examples of these themes. So how you can actually use particular theme? Basically, you import the CSS file, okay, and then you specify the name of that class. Okay. Okay, let's move on to various sets of widgets. So form widgets. So form all digits beginning with a digit.form. The form widgets can be used in a form tag, in a digit.form, a form widget, or outside of the form. And so these are common attributes for all form widgets. And these are common method and common extension point. So when things changed, your function, event handler, could be invoked. And convenience methods added to regular HTML forms. So get values, so generate JSON structure from form values, get widget values. So basically, you can get all the values of input from fields within a form. Set values, is valid, and submit. Okay, so extra functionality. Extension point, you can actually execute user-defined functions to do when user hits the submit button. These are examples of form widgets. And these are combo box examples. So here we require a combo box, and then we define a function object, and then we create the combo box declaratively using Dojo type attribute, and this is onChange method. And this is a date text box. So the format is pretty much the same. And validation, you can specify the validation. So here for a validation text box, you can specify the regular expression, and it is required. So whatever that is being typed in has to meet this regular expression, and this is required, meaning something has to be typed in. And if there is a validation error, then this is the message that will be displayed. Okay, layout widget. So accordion container, content pane, split container, it's basically a set of containers. So this is a split container. So split container have split container, and then it has the two content panes. Command control widgets, basically buttons, combo box, combo buttons, drop-down buttons, menu and toolbar, and things like that. So this is how you can create a menu. Again, pretty straightforward. So basically you have a menu, and then you have a menu items. Okay, and for each menu you could have event handler like this. User assistance and feedback widgets. So we're talking about dialog, a tooltip dialog, progress bar, title pane, and tooltip, and things like that. So this is the dialog example. So you can see, the way that you are going to create digit is very simple, pretty much. Just use a Dojo type. Advanced editing and display. So, the grid, table, color palette, and inline edit box. So you can actually edit inline. And this is a tree. So we have seen examples of tree when we were discussing data access, right? Okay. So here, basically, you have a data store, okay, and so this is the data source, and then you reference to that data store with the content in the store, and then for tree you basically specify where the data is coming from. Okay. This is the JSON tree data source. Okay, so let's do the hands-on lab. Okay, so first exercise is you are going to actually go to Dojo nightly build website, and the nightly build website basically lets you try all these widgets, okay, as a test. Okay, so let's go to that website. So you can see this is April 27, so these are the things that have been built today. Okay. So I can try any widgets like this. I can actually go to form, and let's try buttons. So I'm going to try test buttons. Okay, so these are all the buttons you can try. Okay, color, edit, copy, things like that. And you can small, big, customize bills. Yeah, above. Yeah, so this is above, below, before, and after. Okay, and after, before. Now, if you wanna use any of these buttons, all you have to do is just right-click it and take a look at the source. Okay, and then basically cut and paste the code. Okay, so you can see this is requiring a lot of these things, and then basically you can actually see the like a Dojo data type. Okay, so this is 1.7, so it's using data Dojo type, but you can use your Dojo type as well. Okay, so you can just cut and paste this code. Well, actually, it's very easy to use this one, and then in terms of properties, these are the things that you can actually cut and paste as well, because properties are relevant to that particular widget. Okay, so that is the test button, and you can try a lot of other things like a test spinner. So you can try data, okay, things like that. Okay, so again you can see the source code. Okay. All right, so that is. So it basically contains this test website contains all the widgets you can try. It's basically you can try any widget that comes with the Dojo. Okay, so this is what we just tried, right? Okay, and this is what we tried. Yeah, so you can see the source code. And spinner, we just tried it. Again, you can see the source code. And this is a layout. So you can, if you click layout, then you can try accordion container. And this is accordion container. So you can see tree pane, pane 1.5, lazy load pane, and things like that. Right? And so again, you can see the page source, and you can just you can see it's requiring, and then you can just cut and paste some code that you can use for your own application. This is a fisheye. So here you can actually go to demo, and you can go to fisheye somewhere. Here we go. So this is fisheye. So fisheye is like this. Okay, so it has a label. Each of this one can have a label, and if you click it, it could perform some event handler. In this case, event handler just alert the message. Okay. All right. So that is fisheye. So we just try that, and again you can take a look at the source. And the source of fisheye is that you have to have a fisheye list, and then each of the item that you want to have an eye is going to be in the form of fisheye list item. Okay. Yeah, in fact, your homework is actually adding another image as an item. Okay, so that is a case that you can play around from the Dojo nightly build testing website. Now, exercise 2. Here we are going to actually try locally running application. So the widgets provide sample application is provided. So let me just run that application. So this is the application. I'm going to run that application, run on server, and I'm going to select the Tomcat. All right. So basically, index.jsp page has a link for all the widgets you can try. So we're gonna try a few. This is a color. Whenever you click it, it just display this the color. So if you take a look at the code, so I am using this the configuration for automatic parsing. And then I'm requiring color palette widget, and then basically I just use data Dojo type. Okay, all right. And that is that. And let's try a few other things. So this is the tree case. So it's actually displaying trees, right? Okay. So in this case, tree is this guy, and I'm actually running this HTML file. Okay. And again, it does require item file read store data item file store the data the object, and then tree widget, and then we use Dojo type here, and yeah, this is Dojo type to for item read item file read store, and then we are using tree. Okay, so this is the same code that we have actually talked about in the presentation, and this is the URL, and this is basically you know, the source of the data. So this is the text file. So if you take a look at the text file, that text file is right here. Okay. Okay, so that is that. And form button. So this is, if I click it, the button was clicked. And currency checkbox. Okay. And the date text. So you can choose the date. This. And okay, so this is the case that okay, I'm going to talk about this is the theme and user assistance and things like that. Okay, so let's move on. Oh, okay. So Kuma requested, when you show some visual demo, can you slow down a bit? By the time we see it, the images are skipped or partially displayed. Okay, yes, I will slow down a bit. Okay, so basically, you know, what I've done is exercise 2. You know, I'm basically running the application, and on this case is Tomcat, and basically I just select these options, and you know, then you can certainly take a look at the source code. So this is the source code for checkbox. Okay. Again, I'm using Dojo type for checkbox. So again, it's very simple to use. This is a text box. Okay, we have seen that. And layout widgets. So we have seen that. Command control and user assistance, like this, and advanced editing and display widgets and tree widgets. Okay, so that is exercise 2. Fisheye, yeah, so we have seen the fisheye as well. Okay. It's the same code. Okay, so, and this is the code. Again, you have fisheye list, and then each item will be in the form of fisheye list item, and then you can have an event handler, and you also have a label. Okay, so label gets displayed when you move your mouse over that image, and then it will display item 1, item 2, and things like that. Okay, so moving forward, exercise 3 is creating widgets programmatically. So here, you know, we have actually several samples for creating widgets programmatically. So we're going to actually create standby widget programmatically using non-AMD style API and then AMD style API. So let's try that. So this is the one. I'm using non-AMD style. I mean, the result is going to be the same. So if I click this one, it will show the standby widget. Okay, if I hide it, then it will hide it. Okay, so this is a standby widget. And the next one is doing the same thing in AMD style. We'll take a look at the code in a second, okay? But it should work exactly the same, okay? Again, I'm going to click this one. And now if I click this one, then again, I'm actually seeing standby widget. And if I click hide, then it will hide it, okay? So work exactly the same. Now, in terms of code, so let's take a look at the code. So this is the case that you are creating standby widget programmatically using non-AMD style code. So here I am going to call new and the constructor of standby, and this is the target, okay? And then I am actually adding the standby DOM node to the body, document body, and then I start up the standby. Okay. So that is using non-AMD. Now this is the style for the creating same widget using AMD style code. So I say require, and then you specify the set of modules that you depend on. So these are called the dependencies. Okay. So these modules are gonna be loaded, okay, before your function gets invoked, and then here whatever you are actually depending on will be passed. So this is actually plugin. Whatever that are loaded will be passed as an argument, standby and button, and the rest of the code is the same. Okay, exercise 4 is a theme, so you can try these themes. Okay, so Tundra and Soria Nihilo. Okay. And it looks just a little bit different. Okay, so this is the code. We basically specify the class. This is Nihilo, and this is Soria. Okay, so your homework exercise is to add this image, another image of your choice. This Duke image is already provided as part of the this project. So if you see fisheye, I provided this Duke image, okay? But you can actually choose different image if you want to. And then you want to actually use a label. This is Duke, and when you click it, you want to have some kind of event handler to be invoked, and that event handler should display Duke is clicked at, and you specify the current time. So this is the time that I actually captured this afternoon. Okay, so that is the homework. All right, so that is the end of today's presentation. So let me just